Here we are, guys, with the new Model A3. This is a very famous German automaker, but let's see how this car works because it's something we have never seen before. So let's take a look inside. As you can see, the door is pretty sturdy plastic, everything very fine. There is a lot of place. We have some room here, and okay, we will discuss about this control panel in a moment because this is a kind of different technology. As you can see, we have electronic devices, so the monitor with the tachymeter is something that is completely electronical. We have a second screen here, and okay, everything else is controlled by handles. This is a pretty conservative option, but it's something that could be used more easily by the people for sure. And we have the handles, the metal handles, and the buttons for the control of everything, so we can open the windows and everything. We have a lot of knobs here around the wheel because this is a pretty technological car. A lot of different handles and controls, and this is a kind of particular technology because this technology is called ICE. It's a kind of engine that is not a standard technology. It's something completely different. It works with a fuel, and it was burning a fuel inside and making the motion thanks to this micro explosion inside the engine. This is a kind of technology that is very good as the automaker set in the specification. The specification, they basically said this car has a very big range, but it works in a little different way as we expected. For example, now the car is switched off, so this means we have no way to move the car. So if I press the pedal, it doesn't work. So it's like it's shut down. If we press this button and we keep the brake, you will hear a strange noise coming from the front, and this is basically the engine that started. And as you can see, there are a lot of things happening. We have okay, there are some warnings because it looks like this car has some kilometers already done, and because of this, the system warns us that we have to change some liquid. I think it's the oil in the gear, because this kind of technology that is called ICE has a kind of gear that converts the motion from the main engine to the traction, basically to the wheels. And so there is some oil inside this kind of gear that are made to basically convert the motion from the engine in a smooth way, because this kind of engine has some cones that are related to the way the power is transmitted to the traction. Okay, so this is why it's required a gear, but they made a perfect job to integrate this in an automatic system that basically only gives you two direction plus neutral. Obviously, we have the front, the direct motion and the rear motion. So we have even the parking mode. Now we are in parking mode, but if we switch with this knob, we can move. Basically, if we remove the brake and we start to press the pedal, the auto drive, it's very strange because it looks like you hear a noise. It's a strange noise coming from the front of the car. You don't expect this usually when you drive a car, and this is pretty strange, but it works properly. And if you move for a while and then you stop, I've seen sometimes exactly like this. Sometimes this kind of engine shuts down completely, because this is something like this is something similar to an electrical motor, but maybe they try to do like this because it's something that it's similar to the standard car. But I don't think it works so well, because sometimes even when you are stopped it starts again. Now I removed the feet from the brake, and this is the standard behavior, but sometimes these automatically engage, even if you have the brake pressed. Sometimes the engine automatically engage itself, maybe because the engine needs to keep some kind of temperature to work properly. I don't know. For anything else, the very strange things, okay, except for a lot of dialogues that tells you basically how to connect the system to Android Auto, okay, and I've tested with the phone. This is pretty annoying. There are a lot of dialogues to tell the system that you have accepted that your phone is controlling the entertainment, okay. And okay, as you can see, there are many menu. And okay, now for example, the engine switched off again after a while. This is pretty strange, because we are used not to have the engine always moving when you are driving a car, so you expect the engine to be completely switched off. And here it's not possible, because basically the engine should start before the motion starts. So not suddenly starts and start the motion, but should have like a pre stage where you can have the motor running for a while, and then you can move the car. I told you there is a gear that basically uh, switch the traction from switch to the traction the engine power. And here we are. So let's see how it works. Basically here the funny things is that you have the tachymeter, but you have even another kind of meter that is like RPM meter. So this is like 1000, 2000, 300, 3000 RPM, if I understood properly. There is even a digital speed meter. There is even the consumption and the range. One very good advantage of this kind of technology is that the range is pretty big, so the range estimation is pretty consistent, not so bad. Okay, it warns you when you have only 100 kilometers left, but it's not that bad, I would say. And the only very strange thing is that this car is full of handles to adjust everything. A lot of different kind of handles for the cruise control, for I don't know, this is maybe for the signal, the direction signal. And here we have even for the wipers, okay, front and rear, okay. And okay, for me maybe there are too many commands, too many knobs, handles. It's a little confusing, but this is something subjective, obviously. And here there is even the air conditioning system. The air conditioning system works using the power, because there is a very small battery. It looks like there is a small battery, and when we run in this mode with the consumption, we can see sometimes the battery is charged, but just for 1 or 2 seconds, and then it's full completely. So I think it's a very small battery. This is a very strange thing compared to standard cars, because in standard cars you have a very big battery for the traction, obviously, because the engine is electrical, but whatever. There is a very small battery here too. This kind of battery usually is a kind of strange technology that is called lead battery. So they are very heavy, pretty heavy and pretty big, but they are very reliable, they say. So they should never have any problem. And this is all. So basically we can start and see how the system works. So here we go. We press the switch. So here we are in direct mode, and we move in this car. So if I just left the brake, this kind of motor, this kind of engine moves a little. And because this kind of technology has some torque, just even with very low RPM, but the overall feeling is pretty strange, because it looks like you press the pedal, but you get the reply after a while. It looks like it's damped. I don't know how to say. It's something that is not very quick when you press the pedal, but takes a while to give you some torque. Okay, and this is pretty clear when you're stopped. Sometimes even the engine completely shut down, and you require some time before to start. So if you are in a messy situation, this could be a little dangerous, but I think this is one of the limits of the technology. This is a kind of technology I told you that increase a lot the range of for the car, so the car could really drive a lot of kilometers without any recharging. But it has some disadvantages, some cons. And as you can see, there is a kind of estimation of the consumption of the fuel in this mode. You can see this fuel is basically a kind of it's not oil, it's called diesel. And this is why, if I understood properly, it is why this kind of car have this strange relation between the starting, so the torque at the beginning is not very powerful, but it improves as soon as the RPM meter increases. So when the RPM are very high, like not they are now, they are like around 1000, but if they reach a higher level, it looks like the torque is a lot better. And as you can see, there is a kind of increasing in the consumption, as any car has, when you start to accelerate. And over time, if you release the pedal, this consumption go to zero. But the strange things, as I told you before, is that as soon as you remove the pedal, the battery is charged. So the battery is charged very quickly, and there is no braking, no regeneration. It looks like the energy is lost, and you have to press this kind of brake to decelerate. So there is no way to keep the energy inside the system. You lose it because you have to brake, otherwise the car will continue to run with no friction, or almost no friction. It decelerates very, very, very slowly. It's not like a regenerative braking. It's something much slower. So let's see how it behaves in this roundabout. Okay, as you can see, there is some torque, but not immediately. And if you look at the RPM meter, you can see the meter goes up and down. And when it goes down, there is this kind of gear that automatically try to keep the best torque for the system. So this is something done very, very flawlessly, very neatly, but there is a kind of delay in the power when this is automatically switched. So this is something strange if you are used to a standard car, electrical car, and that's pretty annoying, because you are not used to have this change in power when you linearly press the pedal. So you don't expect this dump in the power. Here I have to brake, and I have to brake a lot, because as I told you, there is no regenerative braking. And okay, when we restart, it takes a while to get to the maximum speed. As you can see, there is a loss in power now and again, but it works. It's not so unreactive. There is some reactivity because the power is good. It's not that bad, but there is a kind of delay when you press the pedal, and you don't expect this kind of delay on a standard electrical car. And as you can see, we are arriving at our destination. I drive this car for a while, so I can say the range is pretty correct. The noise from the engine is pretty damp. Well, I mean, the insulation, the acoustic insulation is pretty good in the car itself. So, but you can see clearly there is some noise arriving from the engine. This is something we are not used. But yeah, the two things that are very strange are this kind of damping in the response from the pedal. So the pedal is very strange way to operate, but this is connected to the technology of the engine. So this kind of technology doesn't have a linear torque with the RPM basically. So that's why we have the GR and everything else. So this is pretty strange. And the other thing, as I told you, is that you have a fuel, so you don't expect to just recharge with a plug and leave the car to do the job, but you have basically to do this operation and supervise the operation, because that kind of fuel could be a little dangerous, it's flammable, and could be a problem. So now we have stopped, but the engine is still running. You can hear the noise. It's a very low background noise, low frequency, and I don't know why, even if I press the brake, this doesn't shut down. But this is something that maybe it should be improved in this kind of technology. And okay, the consumption here is very high because we have done a very short travel, and a travel that's so short usually has a lot of acceleration, and obviously even in a standard car you will have higher consumption. But in this case, I can assure you the standard consumption is around 5.6 liter, because the fuel is liquid over 100 kilometers. So not that bad. It's not that expensive. It's expensive fuel, but not that much. And generally speaking, I think is more expensive than an electrical car to run and to drive and everything, even the maintenance, because as I told you, this car has not so many kilometers, 50, a little more than 50, but there are a lot of annoying dialogues like this one, to do some inspection, some maintenance that is required for the oil inside the automatic gear, I think. And that's all. The car obviously handles Android Auto. The air conditioning works better if the engine is working, otherwise it depletes the battery, and there is a system to basically shut down and not deplete the battery, because there is only the fan moving when you don't have the power from the engine, because basically the engine will create some electrical power for the electrical devices on the car. So it's pretty strange to go with a technology that okay, it extends your range pretty well, but you have to complicate basically the design of the car, introducing much more device, much more converter and everything, just to have the power for all the systems and everything. But this is just a kind of choose. I've tried even the automatic cruise control, it's a little strange. I mean, you don't expect, but it recognizes the lane. It moves you back and forth if you touch the lane stripe, and it doesn't keep you exactly in the middle, but tries to move when you are too far. Basically, when you are approaching the lane edge, tries to move back inside, and it's like a kind of flipping back and left and right. This is just a kind of algorithm that is meant like this. You could adjust obviously the speed. You could keep a constant speed, and the system will try to balance with braking, basically because there is no regeneration. So it could be a little annoying, but it works properly. It keeps the distance with the following car, and you can even adjust the distance with this kind of knob. The only kind of strange things that there are too many things, too many knobs, too many level and everything. This could be a little complicated to understand what's happening, and to remember all the function is not so intuitive. There are two wheels here for the music and the menu, and to reply to the phone, and so, and even for the lights, and for the lock and unlock the doors and everything. I think there are too many knobs. Maybe we are used to different cars, but that's pretty strange. The space is good. This is the most strange things that I have found. There is a kind of bump in the middle rear seat, and this is pretty strange because with a standard car with the battery, you expect to have flat. Here you have something flat, and here probably there is this kind of gear that is very complicated, and as I told you, it increases the maintenance, it increase the cost even, and I think it could be broken even. So it's something to pay attention for sure, and they even changed a little the space handling in the rear seats. The rear seats are not that bad, and this is a good car manufacturer, but that's pretty annoying for me. This is not a 5-seat people car. This is something just 4 maybe, and that's all. So hope you enjoyed. Just some final consideration. As you can see, there is a big trunk, and as you can see, there is a lot of room here. There is even a second wheel in case the ones that we are using are damaged. And okay, I expected a little more room in the trunk, but okay, maybe because there is a tank for the fuel. Maybe this is the reason. And everything else, it's pretty aerodynamic. I think the CX is not that bad.